Hi, second graders. I'm so excited today because I'm going to be doing some vocabulary lessons with you today. So, we're going to start with some words that go along with this book. And I'm sure you have seen this book before, but it's Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Poor Alexander is just having a terrible day of it. So, we're going to talk about four different words that we will be reading or you would read in this book when you hear it out loud. So, the first word that we're going to learn about today is terrible. The second word is terrific. The third word is grumble. And the fourth word is scrunch. So let's start with the word terrible. Terrible means very bad, horrible, or awful. So worse than bad, worse than horrible, very, very, very bad. And I'm going to read or show you page 5 of the beginning of the book. And here is Alexander, and you can see his face. He doesn't look very happy at all, does he? And I'm going to read this page, and I want you to think about and listen to all the things that make Alexander's day start off terrible. I went to sleep with my gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. So, what just happened to Alexander that would make his day so terrible? Put your thinking face on. What do you think? Shout something out from that page. Let me hear you. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Waking up with a gum in your hair would not make you have a very good day, would it? No way. So we're going to play a little game called Terrible or Not Terrible. And the thing about things being terrible, for some people, it might be very terrible. And for other people, it might not be such a bad thing. So terrible is kind of up to somebody's opinion. So let's play this game together. Terrible or not terrible? Are you ready? There is a tadpole in your bath water. So if you're taking a bathtub, there would be a tadpole in there. Now, some people might not think that's so terrible, and some people might. But is this terrible or not terrible? Give me a thumbs up if it's terrible and a thumbs down if it's not terrible. For me, it would be terrible. I would not want a tadpole in my bath water. How about your friend has a party and forgets to invite you? Is that terrible or not terrible? I say terrible. I would be very, very sad if my friend didn't invite me, and it would be very terrible. Oh, here's the one. Your lunch has a peanut butter and jellyfish sandwich in it. I didn't say jelly, I said jellyfish. Would that be terrible or not terrible? What do you think? Well, I don't know. If it was a real jellyfish, it would be terrible. So terrible. But if it was like a gummy, like a jellyfish gummy, maybe not so much, right? All right, so that is the word terrible. Now we're going to talk about the next word, which is terrific. And that's kind of the opposite of terrible. So terrible means very, very bad. But guess what terrific means? Very good, wonderful, or great. So these words are antonyms. That's a big word, say antonym. That means the opposite of each other. So now we're going to talk about terrific. Terrific is great. So I want you to think for a second and think about when you had a terrific, oh, I have terrible up. I'm sorry, friends. When you had a terrific day, where did you go? What did you do? What makes something terrific for you? Think about it for a second and shout it out. What would make something terrific? Hmm. I'll tell you something terrific for me. I love, love, love going to the pumpkin patch and the apple orchard with my family and having cider and donuts. So if we do that, I would say that's a pretty terrific day. All righty. So terrible and terrific. Those are our first two. Now we're going to talk about our next two, which is grumble and scrunch. Are you ready? All right, so grumble and scrunch. And I'm going to go to this page in the book and I'm going to read this to you. So it says, in the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I am going to be car sick. No one even answered. And look at his face. You see Alexander's face? Oh my goodness, he does not look very happy. So, grumbling, friends, to grumble means to complain in a grouchy voice. So, if there's something that somebody asks you to do or something that's not very pleasant, when you grumble, you kind of complain in a grumpy voice. So, like my kids, if I ask them to clean their room or make their lunch or clear their table after they ate, I hear a lot of grumbling. They don't want to do it. They're complaining and going, I don't want to. 5 more minutes. Can I watch YouTube instead? So they do a lot of grumbling and they're not very happy. So grumbling means to complain about something. So what does Alexander grumble about? Think about that. What is he grumbling about? Yeah, he's being smushed in the car. He doesn't like that very much. So let's do a little activity with grumble, and it's called Imagine That. So you're going to decide if this would make you grumble or what it would sound like to grumble about this, okay? It is early in the morning. Your dad tells you it's time to get up and go to school, but you don't want to get up. Oh, I have a connection. I have a child that's like that, my own child, Cameron. You grumble. What does that sound like? So pretend to grumble right now because your dad is waking you up for school. Oh, yeah, I don't want to get up. 5 more minutes. I'm tired. That's grumbling. Oh, my goodness. Very good. So this is complaining about something in a grouchy voice. And this next word kind of goes with it. So when you grumble, you might scrunch up your face because it means to squeeze or crunch. So you could even scrunch your face when you grumble. Show me your best scrunched up face. To squeeze or crush. Or squish might mean, or scrunch might mean that you're too tight in some area. So we look at this page again. If you remember, Alexander was grumbling about being scrunched in the back seat of the car because he felt like he was squeezing or getting crushed in the back seat. So I want you to think about being scrunched. What would be a time where you might have felt scrunched? Where you just are too tight, not enough room. Sometimes in line, now I know we have to distance ourselves a little bit, but sometimes when you feel like you remember from last year coming into school and there's lots of kids coming in, you might feel scrunched because it's a really tight space. Good. So scrunch. Show me your best scrunched face. And usually if you scrunch and you grumble because you're scrunched, it all goes together because that means that you are having, you're grumbling and scrunching your face, a terrible day, not a terrific day, because you wouldn't grumble and scrunch if you were having a terrific day. So one more thing I want to talk about grumbling, boys and girls. Here's the word grumble. And I wrote the same word, but I added an ER to the end. I'm going to circle that ER so you can see it. So when I add an ER, the to an end, I'm turning it into a person. So a person that grumbles. So if I am somebody who likes to grumble, I would be a grumbler. So my daughter Cameron, who's in 5th grade, who does not like to wake up in the morning and she grumbles because I have to wake her up, she would be a grumbler. So don't be a grumbler, because if you're a grumbler, then you would not be having a good day. And we want everybody to have a terrific day, right? So let's go through these words one more time before I end the video. Ready? Say it with me. Grumble. Remember, it means to complain in a grouchy voice. Scrunch, squeeze or crunch. Squeeze up your face. Scrunch it up. Very good. Terrible. Very horrible, bad, awful day, like poor Alexander. But we always want to have a terrific day because that means very good, wonderful, or great. That's it, friends. You're going to have some questions to answer about some of these words. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.